My name is Evan Nielsen, and this is my final presentation. For this final project, I interviewed Tom Daniger, who is actually related to me and is my dad's cousin. He currently works as the Director of Packaging Development at Marathon Cheese Corporation. He majored in packaging at UW Stout and graduated from here in 1994. After graduation, Tom began his career at Weyerhaeuser Paper Company out of Belleville, Illinois. He got this job after he went on his internship while attending Stout. He began as a corrugated designer and after 2 years decided to move to Jefferson City, Missouri to work for Unilever Home and Personal Care. Here he got not only to develop the packages, but the products as well. This experience lasted 3.5 years for Tom, and then he made the switch to Scott's Miracle-Gro in Marysville, Illinois. Here Tom held individual as well as managerial positions for 17 years. During this time here, he began to have a passion for mentoring and coaching teams and individuals. That's when he decided to leave to pursue the Director of Packaging Development at Marathon Cheese Corporation, where he leads a team of engineers to develop new commercial packages in the dairy industry. I chose to interview Tom because he is someone I personally know that is in the packaging field, and he has always told me he is an open book for me to use him for any questions I might have about the job. Also, he is how I found out about the Stout's packaging program, and after talking with him about all the benefits of the major, I chose to go to Stout for the packaging program, just like he did over 20 years ago. Another reason to interview him was because he has so much experience as a packaging engineer and has been in all sorts of positions, whether it be working individually, in teams, as a designer, or as a manager. In this interview, I learned the necessary types of communication that are used in everyday life of a packaging engineer. These include email, phone calls and texts, and finally face-to-face meetings with clients, fellow packaging professionals, and coworkers. When I asked Tom what the most used type of communication was, he said that email is the most popular, and a portion of his everyday schedule is just responding to emails he gets from clients and fellow coworkers. He also said that the specific type of communication is much less important than the effectiveness of your message and making sure that you are communicating clearly and your message is well understood. This is important because a lot of the times on the job we are communicating with non-technical clients, and when figures and charts are used with the client, they can get lost and not understand the message. So what I learned is that I will need to make sure my message is easy to comprehend and doesn't go over the heads of others. Through the making of our infographic, I learned that the goal should be to inform the reader on the topic, but also grab their attention using graphics, charts, and bullet points. But it is important not to overwhelm them and to keep the information in a well laid out formation that is visually pleasing. I personally liked making the infographic and preferred it over writing a regular essay. In the making of my infographic, I first started with what it takes to be a packaging engineer and laid it out into 3 bullet points as skills used, challenges, and positives on the job. These were just some of the questions I had asked Tom in our interview, and his answers were very helpful. He said the most important skills to have in this profession is effective oral and written communication, and that the packaging specific skills will come with the experience on the job. The challenges consisted of working as a team successfully, because if things don't get done or communicated properly within the team, then nothing will get done. And finally, I asked him the positives of choosing the packaging path, and he said that the wide variety of jobs, companies, and materials to work with is a huge factor. There are so many avenues that you can always find something that you can enjoy and really excel at every single day. When I spoke with Tom about the types of communication, he said that it differs between three main ones, and that is email, phone calls and texts, and face-to-face meetings. Emails are used most often in Tom's managerial position, followed by phone calls and texts, and then he has face-to-face meetings 2 to 3 times a week in which he discusses project updates or issues the company is having, and they try to solve them. In the final part of my infographic, I show the importance of effective communication and making sure that your listener is clearly understanding instructions or ideas you are trying to present. I then added some rules to follow and tips that Tom gave me to help grab the listener's attention. He said, first, most importantly, you have to know your audience and adjust your pitch to their convenience. Another one is to not use too many charts and figures. That will just overwhelm them and completely lose the information that you're trying to present. And finally, make sure that your point is articulate and communicated correctly.